Shalom, shalom, shalom. Giving all the praise, honor, and infinite glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well and who I learn from daily. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered across the four corners of the earth. You Israelite foreigners like unto a speckled bird. Shalom to you sincere Akim that's on the highways and byways doing lessons and videos week in and week out in truth and sincerity. And shalom to you sincere Akwath who's listening in silence as the scriptures state for you to do so. This is your brother Isaiah Allah back at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Lord willing, I hope this is edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. And we're going to get right into this one, brothers and sisters. I came across this article on the People's Voice. All right, the man that runs this channel, like I've done a couple of lessons on this before, but he puts a lot of juicy information. So if brothers need a lesson idea, always sometimes I just come here, and he gives a couple of good ones. And this one was published on May 9th of this month and this year. As you can see, the FBI's Real ID database will snitch to employers if you have been arrested. Now, if you're not familiar with the Real ID, it was it's a system, like a new implementation, a new driver's license, and it was an act that they enacted in 2005. But now they made it to where it's mandated. All right, in order for you to travel abroad, and in order for you to go to specific out of the country, you have to have this on your driver's license. You can't even fly without this. Now, I think they mandated it, on May 7th of 2025. So as you can see here, the Real ID Act mandates stricter security standards for state-issued driver's licenses and identification cards. And beginning May 7th of 2025 this year, these compliant IDs are required for accessing federal facilities and boarding domestic flights. In Idaho, the Real ID compliant card is called the Star Card. And that's what it's called here in this state. And so essentially you got to have this in order to go anywhere, point blank period. Now this is just the what's the word I'm looking for? The head start for when before they implement the MOTB, which is the RFID micro CHIP, which is Revelation chapter 13. Okay. And this is just only the beginning of this. This is it's called gradualism. They're getting you ready and prepared for what's ahead and what their true enterprise and what these devils, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, eventually wants to do. Now let's look up the definition of that really quick so you can understand what gradualism is. Gradualism is a policy of gradual reform rather than sudden change or revolution. And it's from the Latin gratis. All right. And they're saying it's a hypothesis or theory, but this is what these devils are doing. All right. Or a tenet assuming that change comes about gradually, or that variation in gradual in nature and happens over time as opposed to in large steps. And this is what Esau has always done. He's always implemented gradualism with signs, symbolism, his policies, his ways of life, all right, philosophy, so on and so forth, man. That's how this devil gets down, and he's never going to change with that. All right, even with his sciences and his religion. And now in the time he's doing it with his technology. All right, and you can see that the infrastructure for the MOTB is already established, is already here. A majority of people already, when they go to the grocery store, they tap to pay. All right, they don't really pull out, like, cash is becoming meaningless. They're implementing a central bank digital currency as we speak, man, and pushing forth more cryptocurrency, even like inside the White House, man. All right, and so let's read this article. The FBI's Real ID database will snitch to employers if you've been arrested, part of a massive surveillance network quietly built since the 2005 Real ID Act. And this system, now enforced under Trump, integrates biometrics to create a total surveillance grid, threatening privacy and freedom. And that's what their whole enterprise is about. That is what the Norvis Ordo Seclorum that you can see on the back of the $1 bill, the New World Order, is what they've been planning for hundreds of years now. But now they're actually pushing it forward. Okay. Continuing on, the Real ID Act passed in 2005 is finally being implemented, with Trump leading the charge. This enforcement marks a critical step in expanding the FBI's control, turning the database into a tool for employers to access arrest records, raising alarms about a surveillance state. All right, total control, surveillance. They want to survey, and that chip is going to be the ultimate way of surveillancing what, like everything about you, man. Where you are, where you're going to go, your like if you have a record, how many times you breathe, your history, so on and so forth. It's a total mass enterprise of controls, of control, and these devils instituting their God complex that they've always had. All right, because they want to be the Most High, and they understand that implementing that chip and putting it within you is them having total control of you and controlling. Because if they could, they would control your spirit, and mainly they want to they want to chip everybody, of course, but mainly you Israelites. That's what this whole agenda is about. That's what this whole plan has been about. All right. But this Real ID Act is just the beginning of it, man. Going back to what I stated earlier, brothers and sisters, gradualism. All right. Just getting your mind prepared for their final move that they're going to make, which is the MOTB. All right. Let's get a scripture real quick. All right. We'll get this before, we'll start with this one here. We understand the prophecy of Revelation 13. We're going to read a little bit of that. But we're going to start here, Isaiah 10. Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. And this Real ID is a form of an unrighteous decree. Because in the kingdom of heaven, we're not going to have IDs. We're not going to have socials, all right, for tracking. Point blank, period. That's what this devil implements, because he wants to, because as it says in Job 9:24, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. All right. He's created an entire system based on the financial system in order to keep track of you, to keep you under their thumb, in the palm of their hands. All right. That's a form of Esau's God wicked complex that he's always had. Okay. And he's going to continuously do this, man, until our Lord YAHAWASHI comes and removes him out of his power seat. All right, this is a part of also his unrighteous dealings. Riches gotten by deceit. Everything that this devil does is on the left-hand side of pure evil and wickedness, and his unrighteous decrees, his policy, so on and so forth. So continuing on, I just wanted to get that quick precept. Let's read a little bit of this. The FBI is embarking on a $1 billion effort to build the world's largest computer database of people's physical characteristics, a project that would give the government unprecedented abilities to identify individuals in the United States and abroad. And what's going to be the main system they're going to use with that? All right, the beast system, which is going to be the RFID chip. All right, the mark of the beast. Digital images of faces, fingerprints, and palm patterns are already flowing in FBI systems in a climate-controlled, secure basement here. All right, they call it the I believe, if I'm not mistaken, let's look it up real quick. Red list, blue list, yellow list, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's called the red, blue, and yellow list. And they have they try to specify this is something they have worldwide. The FBI uses these categories. All right. Let's see. And they're trying to say it's on species. I'm trying to find the one, brothers. Let me see if I type this in a little better. FBI. Yeah, let me see. Let me see what pops up here. Yeah, so the FBI's red list refers to Interpol's red notices, which are an international request to law enforcement worldwide to locate and provisionally arrest individuals for serious crimes. So those are their most wanted, high level fugitives. All right, which so far they don't have if I'm not mistaken, they don't have the Hebrew Israelites on there, but they have us in a category. All right, and they're going to eventually transition us to the most wanted people on the planet, the prophets. All right, they're gonna we're gonna be the most wanted. Our faces are gonna be plastered everywhere, so on and so forth. That's a part of the persecution. All right, especially for us resisting that their beast system, the chip. So let's continue on. And in the coming years, law enforcement authorities around the world will be able to rely on iris patterns, face-shaped data, scars, and perhaps even the unique ways people walk and talk to solve crimes and identify criminals and terrorists. The FBI will also retain, upon request by employers, the fingerprints of employees who have undergone criminal background checks, so the employers can be notified if employees have brushes with the law. All right. The FBI is planning a wrap-back service under which employers could ask the FBI to keep employees' fingerprints in the database, subject to state privacy laws, so that if that employees are ever arrested or charged with a crime, their employers would be notified. The Real ID will monitor your social behavior as well as the Chinese government does, because we understand the Chinese government, they already have a social credit score already implemented. All right. And some people even have the chip over there. They have that, but they don't have. It's just not made mandatory across the 4 quarters of the earth yet. All right, like it is in this near future through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI that we're seeing. All right, but China has a social credit score, and there's a video down here that's going to show it. We're going to play that video clip so you can see. Contain your facial recognition data, which will allow high-resolution street cameras to track you and force you to comply with, I'm not going to say that word, mandates, if you want your ID to be valid. It will also determine whether you can buy or sell. You hear that? And control what you can buy or sell. But that's not gonna. It's gonna. The chip is what's gonna make you. It's gonna determine whether you can buy or sell. Point blank. Period. All right. The RFID chip is gonna determine that. The social credit score is gonna be attached to the RFID chip. All right. If you don't have the chip, you're not gonna be able to buy or sell. Point blank. Period. You're not gonna be able to do anything in society. That's why we're going to have to depend on YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. He's going to keep us from that. Okay? I want to get that precept real quick. Whenever it decides to load. There we go. Let's click the red letter, brothers. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt... no, that's not the one I want. Salakia. I always do that. Let me go to Revelation 3. Yeah. Revelation 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience. All right. Doing this work. Staying fervent in the spirit. Teaching. Being a brother. All right. And at the end of the day, you got to be a part of the hopeful elect. The only individuals that's going to be exempt from this and fight, all right, the hour of temptation, which is the mark of the beast, is going to be the elect. I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. All right, so the whole planet is going to be tested and tempted of this chip. Okay, and they're already getting everything situated and getting everything started. They just have to come with a collapse. All right, like order out of chaos is what the terminology is called, where they're going to implement the chaos to institute the order, which is going to be the chip. All right. And it's going to they're going to come with the smooth words. That's how Esau always has done. He's that serpent. All right. Since the beginning in the garden, he comes with a smooth, very smooth, like this is going to be for your benefit, so on and so forth. Concerned about constitutional rights, which include privacy under the 4th Amendment, even the Department of Homeland Security owned privacy community came out in opposition to the Real ID Act 2 years after it was passed. That's because, listen, these amendments and shit, they don't mean nothing. The government like as soon as everything collapses and all hell breaks loose here, all these amendments is gonna go out the window, man. It means nothing. It's just even I think it was if I'm not mistaken, let me see this. He said, I think one of the presidents said this. Let me see if he said that. Yeah. So George W. Bush said this. He said it's a goddamn piece of paper. Yeah. He said, yeah. He they sometimes they make their own words to spill upon themselves, man. That's not and you dumbass Americans, you Babylonians, you just don't understand anything, man. With the how this system is ran with the elites. The banking families, man. They're the ones they're the puppet masters. They run everything in the background, man. All right. So at the end of the day, they the Constitution doesn't apply to them because they're the wicked. They don't apply the Constitution is just a form. It's just a magic piece of paper to make it seem like you have freedom, you have rights. But you people don't, man. All right, it's a delusion, it's a veil. And that veil is being taken off, man. And the wicked has been revealed through the prophets and the men of the Lord, starting with the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, man. All right, shameful spewing is coming on Esau's glory, man, and putting forth all these lies, and debunking all the lies, Salakia. So I just wanted to prove that. Continuing on. Let's see. Real ID has nothing to do with safety. The argument that strict identification is a necessity for safety in airline travel is deeply flawed. The determinant of safety is what a passenger boards a plane with. Either a passenger is naked in the security sense of the word, meaning thoroughly searched for arms or weapons, then that potential threat is neutralized no matter who that passenger is. It is ridiculous to presume that a passenger may take over an airliner with the pilot's cabin door locked, as all now are armed air marshals are now on almost every flight. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, man, it's just like this is just the beginning of their like I stated earlier, the enterprise that they want to get off the ground. All right, because these devils believe if they can like once they institute the MOTB, that the whole purpose is they want to get they're creating their own birthright, because they're not going to be able to get the birthright back. All right, and the YAHAWASHI is putting this in their spirit to do this, man. All right, and we know, of course, the real ID, like I said, is not the mark of the beast, but this is just the gradualism leading up to it. Facial recognition is already built into national real ID infrastructure. The national real ID will eventually include high resolution facial recognition, scans for each ID holder, so detailed that you can be identified on the street in real time by street cameras at a distance. And we know this because the software is already built into the national real ID standard. So you see that? So sooner or later, well, when they implement these 15-minute cities, all right, when there's going to be more and more of them, they're going to have cameras on every single street, no matter where you turn, drones flying everywhere, all right, martial law, soldiers on the streets, okay, and who's going to be the number one dolos that's out there, being on bolos out there, being on the lookout. It's going to be the men of the Lord, the prophets, man, because we're going to be, I'm a part of that. We're going to be the ones that's going to be the most wanted, okay? Especially, and the individuals that resist the chip. They're not going to take the chip. Okay, so just going into real ID is unconstitutional. Just the man like speaking certain things is going against the laws, the Constitution, so on and so forth. All right, and we know Trump's the one. That's why we believe he's going to be the one to implement this, the implementation of the mark of the beast. He's going to be the one, the cruel Lord. All right, because everything he's doing right now is beautiful. He's moving. Prophecy is moving because of this man. And Barakatha YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI for that. All right. And we see here real ID will be used to enforce that word again, mandates, and so on and so forth, man. So we're in that time, brothers. This is a pretty long article. I just wanted to get some key points on it, and then we're gonna get a couple of scriptures and we'll end it. But that video that I wanted to show you, brothers and you sisters, right here. So this is, he put it the social credit system that China has. So you can see this, man. That this is coming here. All right. Let me get rid of that. So watch this a little bit.
They're constantly monitored by facial recognition cameras that are able to instantly put a face to a name. Now, the Chinese are also ranked, given a mark out of a possible 950 points. A score in the 700s is considered good. Around the 500 mark is not. For now, the number is a sort of bank credit rating, keeping track of everyone's spending habits.
I think being ranked is a good thing. A society has to have rules.
It forces us to be well behaved.
It may seem scary, but it's just like that here. We're used to it, and anyway, we don't have a choice.
But in an effort to keep all of its subjects in line, Beijing is taking the system a step further in 2020. It's aggregating data gathered by banks, private companies, and the state to rate if someone's a good or bad citizen.
By using the most data possible, the so-called big data, the system will play an important role in rebuilding a moral society.
The state will go over every detail of a person's life with a fine-tooth comb. Their financial situation, spending habits, career, even behavior on social media. Criticizing the government online or displaying outward signs of wealth is a no-no. On the other hand, praising the party or giving blood increases your social credit. Xiao Wenwang is a model citizen. She lives in Nanjing, a testing ground for social ranking. Married with a child, she has a job in a retirement home, no debts, and she wouldn't dream of jaywalking.
As a good citizen, I respect the rules of the road. If I didn't, I'd lose points on my social credit.
In theory, everything can be taken into account in the social score, even the most innocuous errands like supermarket shopping. When Xiao Wenwang makes an electronic payment, her purchases tell the state a lot about her. Buying cigarettes would count against her. On the other hand, nappies show she's an attentive mother. Beer could indicate alcoholism. She'd be better off buying water.
So you brothers and sisters, you hearing this shit? So, like this is what's coming here. Like with the chip. Whatever you buy, whatever you purchase, is gonna tell like the beast, the system, everything about you. That's what that's their whole agenda. All right, because they want to create in their mind like they want to make in their mind how an individual should be, which is a part of Esau's whole total control enterprise, man, which is going to be that MOTB, man. This is just the beginning of it, man. That's it's mind-boggling, man. It's crazy, but this is the eventually gonna shift to the transhumanism, which is what this devil has been wanting to put out from the beginning, man. But this is just a test. This is all just a test. They have it set up in China, in this system, and you hear these dumbasses talking about these Moabites, and that's why they got all these Moabites, man. They're going to be in subjection, all of them, Moab, and like all of them, because they believe that their way is the true, everlasting, righteous way of how a system and morals are supposed to be. But no, it's through the words of YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. All right. But I just wanted to play a little bit of that clip just so you could hear that and see, like, that's not a game. This is exactly what they're going to do to these people, and a lot of these people are going to take this chip. All right, because they're going to believe that it's the righteous way, or this is the good way. It's going to prove who's moral, so on and so forth. But in the end, if you take it, then the Lord's going to kill your ass. This is Revelation chapter 13, and we're going to start at verse 14. And deceiveth them. Actually, no, we're going to start at verse 12, Salakia. All right. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. All right. And he's exercising all the power of the Roman Empire. All right. And what's interesting, the Bill of Rights is actually patented by the Roman law. All right, the democracies, everything, man. That deadly wound was healed during the Renaissance era, and it's been continued ever since. All right, and that's why everything is orchestrated from the pagan Roman Empire. And he doeth great wonders, so that he make a fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And he actually did that when NATO came and bombed Bosnia, and eventually Hiroshima and Nagasaki were bombed. Okay, and deceiveth them that dwelled on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. All right. Now this is referring to their philosophies, the image of the beast, their ways of living. All right. The religions, their sciences, different things of the world on the left hand side, the mind of the wicked. All right. And they're going to be the use of technology with wickedness, which is their God complex. All right. There's a saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. And our people, they live like that right now, man. And they're going to continue doing that because they're going to be looking for comfort. And these next verses are going to talk about that. This is going to be the 2/3 that are still alive, and the wicked heathen. They're gonna look at once Esau presents this chip, they're gonna take it because they're gonna look for something to make everything normal. All right. Verse 15, he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right. And the image of the beast is the system. Rome, we're living in Rome all over again. Okay. And here's the point. He calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. So everybody, whether you locked up, whether you out, whether like, and that's going to be, notice there's no middle partition. All right. There's no middle class. It's going to be the rich and the poor. All right. To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 636, which is the barcode system. All right. And so we understand that mark is a physical thing. So when you go into the Greek here, and brothers have done lessons on this, but we're gonna always go over this for anybody that's new to understand what this that this is a physical mark, and it's the Greek word YAHAWAH. All right. And here's the definitions: a stamp and imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the anti-anointed. The mark branded upon horses, thing carved, sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images. A scratch or etching, i.e. stamp as a badge of servitude. All right. And it's an etching imprinted within you. The root word, which is Strong's G 5482, karax. All right. A pale or stake, a palisade. Okay. And this is how you know that this is something they're going to stick in you. All right. A needle. All right. Because when you look up a palisade, if you've never seen that, palisade fencing. Palisade fence have like sharp points. So that's how you know if you look here, it's gonna like that's what how you know it's something they're gonna put inside you as like a shot. All right. And if you've never seen, let me show you here. RFID needle. Boom. Just like that. That's what they're gonna. That's exactly how they're gonna be able to put that inside of you. A sharp point. A palisade. An etching inside of you, implanted, all right? Or a palisade or rampart, pales between which earth, stone, and that's not it. Trees and timbers are heaped and packed together, okay? To sharpen, if you go to the Strong's definition, karax, to sharpen to a point through the idea of scratching a stake by implementation, a palisade or rampart, all right? So they're gonna stick something in you, which is that needle with the chip, and the root word of that is grapho, all right? And when you look at some of the definitions here, to grave, all right, a graven image. They're gonna stick it inside you, man. The chip, point blank, period. All right, and the writing is gonna be the software within it. It's gonna have software written in it, that barcode system, which is gonna attach you to the beast system. All right, for all tracking, and if you take that, then you're done. You're done. There's no repenting from taking this. Okay, and so that's why in that day we're gonna have to trust YAHAWASHI to keep us from this. If you're a part of the hopeful elect, and the Lord's not gonna let them, brothers and sisters, get off the ground fully. All right, He's only gonna let them get so far, because they're gonna be winning, that everything's gonna be good. Then the Lord's gonna come and punch their ticket. All right, Job chapter 5 and verse 12. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, Salakia, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise, man. And the Lord, and that the enterprise is going to be their beast system, man. Everything that these devils have always been planning, everything that they wanted to plant, that they wanted to get off the ground for years, and now they're in that time. The Lord's going to disappoint them, man. All right, He's appointed their bounds, which they cannot pass. The wickedness is not going to go past a certain point, man. All right. The scriptures say that I reserved to myself 7,000 men who will not bow the knee to the image of Baal. And the Lord, and that's going to be the hopeful elect, man. And the seven. That's a 7,000 is a complete number of men, man. Because the 144,000 as well as the 1/3 are not going to bow the knee to this to this system, and they're not going to take the chip, man. Okay. They're going to lean on YAHAWASHI in those days and in this time. All right. And the Lord's going to disappoint them, man. Let's bring one more. Psalms 33 and 10. The Lord YAHAWASHI bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. And that chip is the devices of the wicked, man. It's a wicked device. Okay? Unrighteous decree. unrighteous dealings that these devils want to do to push forth their God complexity that they've always had. But the Lord's going to bring it to naught. It's going to be nothing, man. He's going to rain fire on their ass and destroy their whole entire system and all their hopes and dreams. And then they're going to go into slavery underneath us. Point blank, period, man. Okay? So I'm going to end it off right there. Lord willing, I hope this was edifying. All praises, honor, and infinite glory to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH, and double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect.